I think everybody needs a quick to grab breakfast once in a while, and I think the dolls are no different. So I thought today we'd make them some breakfast sandwiches. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy this project is. Alright, so what I have here is some off-white clay, and I'm using original Sculpey because it's a good off-white clay and it's good for using when you need a larger quantity. What I've done is I've rolled it out on my pasta machine at the thickest setting, and then I've doubled that. So I've got 2 layers at the thickest setting, and I have a 1-inch round cutter. For each English muffin, you are going to need 2 rounds. Now, put this off to the side somewhere. Alright, now we need to work on these. First off, we want to round that top edge. We don't want that top edge to be too harsh, because English muffins aren't. And they tend to not be perfectly round either, so if you kind of misshape them, that's fine. Put a few dents in, that's cool. Now, we're going to turn them over, and I have some chalk. I have 3 colors of chalk. I have our yellow ochre, like we always use with breads. We have that kind of a reddish brown, and then I have a dark brown. I'm going to take the dark brown. This sandwich is going to be fastened together, so you won't see this cut surface. But what I want to do, I want to hit just the edges with the darkest brown. And my brush has a little of the reddish brown too, but I'm just hitting the darkest brown. So it looks toasted. This way it'll look like our English muffin has been toasted. Now I'm going to set it down, cut side down. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Just that rim. Now I will warn you, give you a heads up here, I am expecting a phone call at any moment this afternoon, but I wanted to get some work done. So if we get interrupted by the phone, I apologize in advance. I have no idea when I'm going to get the calls. Okay. If you come from the bottom up, any extra chalk will go on that base, where we don't care. Now, I'm going to go over to my tray. Sorry, it's off camera. Excuse me. I've just got yellow ochre and whatever was left in my brush of the other. English muffins tend to have color in the middle and not a lot towards the outside edges. And my brush is shedding terribly, but hopefully when I get these out of the oven, that'll just brush off. I'm going to take just a touch of that reddish brown. And that's all there is to it. I want to get these baked off because I don't want to have these bending when I'm putting the sandwich together. So I'm going to bake these at 250 for about 10 minutes, and then I'll be back. Alright, so these are all baked off now. We're going to set those to the side, just right here. And I have 3 pieces of clay. This is our half white, half translucent that we've been using for all our egg tutorials. This is actually the dark color from our bacon tutorial. I'll put links to those tutorials. And then this is just a cheese color. It's just a yellow and orange mixed together. I actually add a little white just to lighten it up just a bit today. And we are going to also need a little bit of TLS, if this hasn't become completely hard in the bottle. There we go. So I'm going to put a dab of TLS, it's translucent liquid Sculpey, and that's because I'm putting cooked clay and raw clay together. And this will just act as a glue where the raw clay comes in contact with the cooked. If you don't have this, you can try it without, and then if they come apart, you can always use a polymer clay friendly glue to glue them together. Yeah. Yes, this has gotten messy. Okay, let's wipe up that little bit. All right, so breakfast sandwiches can be layered in any number of layers. You know, the layers come in all different varieties. So I'm going to put the meat on first. I'm going to take my same 1-inch cutter, and I rolled this bacon color out to, I believe, the 3rd setting on my pasta machine. And I'm actually, no, actually now, I'm going to kind of use my fingers and kind of just mush it a little bit so that it's not exactly the same size. Now I'm going to take our white egg clay, and this is rolled out on the thickest setting of my pasta machine. That's going to go right there. Then I'm going to use this as a marker. I've rolled this out on the 4th setting, and that's not really giving me a mark I can see, so I need to reach my ruler. Alright, I should have had this handy. I am going to make a, well, this is a fairly straight cut, so I'm going to cut off a 1-inch block of this. It doesn't need to be perfect because we're going to kind of make it kind of messy. And the clay color on these things, as long as your egg white is white and translucent so it gives that appearance, and you have colors that are reminiscent of what they are, your brain will fill in the rest. Now we want this to look melty, so we're going to pull those corners down, and we're going to put this on top. And we're going to smoosh down. And we are going to bake this. Now, since some of this is Vimo, I am going to bake this at 235 degrees. And this is quite thick. I'm going to give this about 15 minutes. I've got another set of English muffins that I'm going to play with here. I'm going to show you a variation. This one I was playing with texture in the middle, but I didn't like how they turned out. This one, we're going to do the same meat and the same cheese. This one I'm going to kind of do this. Oh, I should probably put my TLS on there. I don't want to forget that. The TLS is normally not this hard. This is a really old container that sits on my table with the lid off and has been for probably 5 or 6 years. It's just about empty. I'm trying to get this one used up so I can go to a new one. Alright, so this one we are going to put this down like this, and instead of our egg, we're going to use the leftovers from last week's scrambled eggs. I'm going to roll out, because sometimes what people will do is they will scramble an egg and then kind of fold it. They'll make it into a flat. And there's cat hair on that. This has been sitting on my table. Fold this. Doesn't have to be folded perfect. In fact, I don't want it folded perfect. And then, is that big enough? Is that 1 inch, or do I have to cut? Oh, it's perfect. And this one can come down over the edge. Because you see breakfast sandwiches done both ways. And we're going to smush that together. So I'm going to go bake these at 235 degrees for about 15 minutes, maybe 20, depending on how busy I get. And when they're all baked and cooled, I'll come back. I really like how these turned out. I think they are really cute. I hope you enjoyed this project. It's another easy food project using the same clays that we've been using all along. Be sure and check the blog post. There'll be some photos over there, better quality than I can put on the video. And if you haven't found my Facebook group, the link to that is always in the video description, along with the link to the blog post. I'd love to have you join us over on Facebook. It's the quickest way to get a hold of me, and I usually try to post some sneak peeks over there at some point before the video goes up. So thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.